Hello! Sorry it's been a minute since my last video. I went to Wales on holiday with my wonderful wife, who I am ambivalent towards. Anyway, I'm back, so let's talk subclasses. So, subclasses in TF2 are something we can never truly seem to agree on. What is and what isn't a subclass, and what is and what isn't just a weapon change or a playstyle change, very much varies here and there depending on who you ask and how many hours they have on that class. There are some playstyles out there which I would say are pretty set in stone in the fact that they are subclasses, yet there are some others in which the line becomes a little bit blurrier. But within all these debates I've seen about subclasses in TF2 over the 8 years I've been playing the game, not once have I seen someone try to rank these subclasses by either pick, power or support categorization. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm going to be taking some of TF2's most popular subclasses and ranking them as to whether I think they belong in a pick, power or support role. Some may belong in 2 categories, some may belong in all 3, and I'll explain how this works when we get into the actual categorization. So without further ado, I feel the best place to start is just by starting, so let's get into it. So I'm just going to quickly take a minute to explain what my personal definition of a subclass is. I feel it's important to quickly cover this first, as this should help to explain as to why I've chosen some of the popular community subclasses to be on this list and why I haven't chosen others. So I fully expect some people to disagree with parts of this, I fully expect some people to agree with parts of this, but my personal definition for a subclass is a group of new and complementing weapons combined with a differing attitude as to how you would normally play that class. So, for example, I would personally consider Demo Knight to be a subclass. He is not the 10th class because he is just not a separate class. He is a demo man with a differing playstyle and complementing weapons to suit that playstyle. I would not, however, consider Demo Pan to be its own separate subclass because it is just a worse Demo Knight. I'm sorry Demo Pan fans, but Demo Pan will not be featured on this ranking. I do also believe a subclass could be a new weapon and a vastly different playstyle to compensate. Like for example, I do consider Pyro to be a subclass, because it is just one weapon but the playstyle is so utterly different. Yet I wouldn't consider something like for example a back scratcher using Pyro to be a subclass. So that will be my definition for what is and what isn't a subclass, and now let's get into the ranking. If you have any further questions or gaps in my criteria, there are some sources down below I have linked to which I agree with as to what is and what isn't a subclass. But for now, let's categorize some subclasses. Okay, so let's get started. On the left here we have our main subclasses. On the right here we have our pick, power, support, and the gaps in between if one subclass for example falls into multiple. And then down here are the icons for the subclasses I couldn't see anyone else talking about online, so I had to make. But of course, all the original assets will be found down in the description below. So yeah, like I said, I've done enough talking. Let's just get started. And I feel we should get started with a pretty easy one. I just know someone is going to argue in the comments saying that Demo Knight should be a pick power. No, he isn't. He's a pick. You trade your higher, area of effect damage for just single target damage. You cannot push past chokes entirely by yourself. You cannot lock down areas. You are meant to be mobile. You are meant to be moving. You are meant to be a pick class. Demo Knight is not a pick power, and I'm sure someone is going to argue that. So I'm just leaving the clarification now. He's a pick, and we're moving on. I don't want to talk about Demo Knight anymore. Let's just move on. Let's just do all the Demo Man stuff first. Okay, Hybrid Knight. This is a pick power class. So you get to keep the power from your grenade launcher and your kind of larger area denial grenades, but also your incredibly high single target damage. And then you could also carry the Eyelander and just play like a normal Demo Knight, or you can carry, any other sword for any other reason. Hybrid Knight is a proper pick power class, as you get to keep the power from your explosives, but you gain the pick of a long-ranged melee and charge. Hybrid Knight is honestly my favourite way to play Demo Man. I just think it's the most fun thing you can do in TF2. Carry the Eyelander, carry the Klech, anything you want. It's just great. I love playing Hybrid Knight so much. Oh yeah, and Sticky Tank. Right. I'm just going to have to put Sticky Tank for now. This might change, but I'm going to put Sticky Tank purely into power. So nobody knows what Sticky Tank is. Like, I've spoken to so many people, and because the majority of TF2 players these days are relatively new, or by my terms anyway, not a lot of people know what the Sticky Tank is. So the Sticky Tank is carrying the boots and a grenade launcher of your choice. You can also combine this with the Eyelander and get max heads to be an incredibly high health, high speed moving Demo Man. So yeah, that's what the Sticky Tank is. It's great fun. You should give it a go. Not many people really know what it is. But for now, I'm putting in power. I could see, for example, power support. I could even see power pick. I could not see all 3, however. So Sticky Tank is going in there for now. And just an insanely high health demo man, moving relatively fast if you combine it with the Islander as well. And you still get to keep the immense power of the stickies. Probably the best weapon in the entire game, the sticky launcher. So yeah, sticky tank, it for now is power. I will shuffle these about later and I will keep that on camera. I guess I should also say this isn't really scripted. I have small bullet points for every single one of these classes and a rough idea as to where I put them, but everything else I say will mostly just be ramble. Now, that's it for demo, I think. There's probably another one here. No, I don't think so. I guess we'll just do explosives. Let's go Trojan next. Pick. Easy. Easy pick. I don't think anyone's going to deny that. I really don't have anything else to say here. Trojan is just a pick playstyle. You know, you focus incredibly high damage onto one single target instead of wider damage to a wider area. So, yeah, I think Trojan's a pick. I don't think people are going to argue that. Banner soldiers, on the other hand, I am putting in power support. So if you're a banner soldier, it really, where you want to place this entirely depends on the banner you're running. Now, I know the conch is obviously the icon for this one, but we're going to assume multiple different banners, multiple different scenarios, weigh them together, combine them all, and then judge. So if we just combine all the situations in which the banners are useful, obviously the buff banner is good for, you know, offense. Although really I find it's best for defense, and I find the battalions is best for offense, because the battalions is nuts at pushing past choke points. That's something a lot of the blue team can really do with in certain payload maps. The conch, obviously, another great offense one and a support one as well. And they're all just kind of very supporty in general, and they all provide incredible power and whatnot. So I'm putting banner soldiers into power support. Soldier paratrooper. Okay, so this is just the airstrike and the base jumper, to my knowledge. So the airstrike has a smaller blast radius, much to its detriment, and even further so when you are blast jumping. Now, this is obviously awful. However, it does mean you can't really spread your damage about very evenly like a normal power class could, and you are best suited for picking off slower moving targets that are standing still, like soldiers or snipers, things like that. Not soldiers, sorry, heavies. But yeah, so we could go pure power, we could go power pick. I'm going to put power pick for now, because you're trading your larger area of effect splash damage for incredibly high just damage as a whole. So I think pick power suits that best, and we'll move on. Let's do another one of these. Roma. Wow, okay, so people, long-term viewers of my channel will know that I hate the gunboats, and I hate Romas, and I hate the kind of people who play them. Mostly as a joke, but also utterly legitimately. And, you know, I've had many comments saying that the Romas are the gods of the game, and shut up. Okay, anyway, so Roma, I'm looking at pick power currently, because a good Roma can fill multiple roles, right? You can, for example, manage the flanks, or if you need to be, you can jump back with your team, push the payload, capture the objective, that kind of stuff. I'm gonna put Roma in pick power for now. That might move down to pick. It will not move up to power, it might move down to pick. Okay, what else are we gonna do next? Well, we've got a couple of scout ones. Let's do these. Okay, so Milkman is basically just supporting your team with the Mad Milk. You know, maybe you can carry the Candy Cane as well for extra healing, that kind of stuff. Pick support. I don't think people will really argue that, because obviously you're still going to be carrying your scattergun, an insanely good weapon. You can still manage the flanks or run around if you want, but you're just going to be more team-centric. You're going to be extinguishing your teammates, you're going to be milking the enemies, that kind of stuff. And we'll move on to Speed and Bleed. This is just another pick. So Speed and Bleed is basically carrying the baby faces and then the two bleed weapons. You can carry one of the bleed weapons if you want and something else, but I recommend both bleed weapons. So the baby faces gives you immense speed when you deal lots of damage, and the bleed over time effect damage can basically help to rack this up. So if you play your cards right, of course you're going to be shot at and you're going to be losing your speed boost, but with the bleed and how insanely fast the cleaver recharges, you can basically just keep your speed up indefinitely. But yeah, so just another pick. Some subclasses I've gone through here still fill the main roles of the class that they're attached to, but they are just a different way to play the game, which I still consider a subclass. Bonk Boy. Okay, this isn't one I was necessarily familiar with. My second screen tells me that this is the Soda Popper, Winger, and Atomizer, and it's basically the idea that you just use your lots of jumps to get to very difficult to reach places and pick off classes that way. It's still a pick. It's a different way to play scouts, so it still counts. but you're going to have a much easier time getting snipers, for example, with this, as you can use your multiple jumps to get to areas of which snipers might not expect you to come from. So yeah, it's still a subclass, and it's still pick. It's still scout at the end of the day, but it's also pretty fun, but at the same time, not very strong. Pyro. Yeah, we've got a couple Pyro ones, or 3 Pyro ones even. Okay, so let's do the Pyro. So we'll go Pyro first. Pick support. Now, I would like to argue that Pyro could be potentially all 3, and also combo Pyro as well. Because Pyro can just do anything. Pyro can just do anything. He can be a pick, he could be a power, he could be a support. He's a fantastic support. He's an interesting power class, and he's a pretty good pick one as well. He really can just be anything, and it's you know, it's good. It's good. However, well, we'll do these together. I'm gonna put Pyro in pick support because when I made a community poll originally, a lot of people said Pyro was pick support, and a lot of people were interested in the idea of Pyro maybe going in all 3, but just the general consensus was pick support. So we're going to assume the Pyro playstyle is basically just hovering around your engineer and your medic. So you're going to be extinguishing the medic, you're going to be removing the sappers, and you're going to be killing the spies. That to me really does say pick support, as you're focusing your damage to maybe 1 or 2 targets at most. Combo Pyro, on the other hand, I am going to put in all 3. So combo Pyro, you're going to have the degreaser, you're going to have a flare gun of your choice, usually the power jack as well, but you can also run the extinguisher. You can just do anything. You can stick with your team to help push and reflect projectiles. You can pick off spies. You can melt down heavies with flares. You can extinguish your medic. And if you want to carry the home wrecker as well, you can even get rid of the sappers. I am putting combo Pyro in all 3. And I know some people will argue that, maybe saying he's just a pure pick. But no, I really think Pyro can do anything. Pyro Shark, pick. I'm running out of things to say for some of these very small ones. This is literally just one weapon that makes this subclass, yet it is still a different playstyle, which I still define as a subclass. So yeah, just, another pick one. I really don't have anything else to say about Pyro Shark. Battle Engineer. Battle Engineer is another one that could be all 3. So we're going to assume the Battle Engineer loadout. Oh, we're obviously going to have the Gunslinger, and we're going to be more mobile. We're not going to be turtle behind our sentry. We're going to be mobile, we're going to be shooting around, and we're going to be building mini sentries. To me, that says pick support. Now, you could also argue power support. You could argue all 3. You really could. I am fresh off the call with a couple of my mates in which we discussed this, and Battle Engineer was the one we could not settle on. I was saying maybe power support, some of them were saying pick support, some of them were saying all 3. I'm unsure. So, Banner Soldier and Battle Engineer we'll come back to at the end. But for now, I'm putting Battle Engineer in pick support, as he has fantastic supporting abilities, but also you trade your insanely high-powered damaging sentry for just a mini tiny one, which obviously allows you to be more mobile, but at the same time, you lose a lot of the power that the sentry gets. So I'm willing to put Battle Engineer in pick support for now, but we will come back to this one later. Fat Scout. I don't know why this is on here. It's a pick. Yeah, it's a pick. No, don't rotate it. it's a pick. I don't really know what else to say. It's a pick. I have nothing else to say. If you're playing Fat Scout, first of all, that's great. Well done. But second, you will probably be yelled at. For those who do not know, the Fat Scout is the combination of just using the shotgun on the heavy and pure determination as to that you won't get sniped. Battle Medic. Entirely depends on how we define a Battle Medic. So, for the context of this, as I have previously done, we're going to define a Battle Medic as someone who does not use their medigun whatsoever. They probably aren't going to be carrying the crossbow either. So you're going to receive no healing from a Battle Medic, and that makes me think pick. If you want to, for example, focus people down with your Blutsaga and carry your Bonesaw and whatnot, but also heal teammates if they stand in front of you and call out in, the red symbols, then yeah, maybe you could argue pick support, but for now I'm just going pick, because we're going to assume for the criteria of this video that there is going to be no healing coming from this guy whatsoever. So that just makes him the worst pick class in the entire game. Huntsman. You could argue pick power. I'd be more willing to listen to an argument about the Huntsman being pick power than an argument about Demo Knight being pick power, At the end of the day, I see the Huntsman still as pick. I don't really need to explain this. It is high damage to one single target at a time. Obviously, if you want to carry the Jarate and Bushwhacker, you can do that, but that's not established. We are purely defining a Huntsman subclass, someone who uses a bow and arrow on Sniper. So, yeah, I still see this as pick. Yes, I know the damage is insanely high, but it is single target damage, and you can maybe lock down an area with a Huntsman. So, yeah, pick. We move on. Finally, Gunspy, who long-term viewers of this channel will know that I dislike Gunspy with a passion. My story of this, or my TF2 story in general, I've been playing since 2015, and I took a break around late 2019, early 2020, somewhere around there, because, well, college. But I came back to TF2 in the summer update last year, and I've been out of it for maybe 3 or 4 years. I'm not very good at short-term mathematics. Now, when I came back, quite a lot had changed, funny enough. Gunspy was not a thing when I left TF2, and I come back, and now everyone's talking about how the stock revolver is a reliable weapon. No, you didn't use it when I was playing. You used the Ambassador, you used the Latage, you used a Diamondback. You didn't play Gunspy because you had a knife in your pocket. I don't know. I've done some Gunspy. I've had moderate fun sometimes. Wow, I really just spoke a lot. Anyway, sorry about that. Gunspy, it's a pick. What do you want from me? It's a pick. I really don't know. It's starting to sound like a rusty video. But yeah, no, Gunspy is a pick. You are trading your pick knife for a pick gun, which is just a worse knife. Please do not play Gunspy. Just play Medic. I don't know. Play anything else. You do not need to play Gunspy. But yeah, Gunspy's a pick. I really don't know what else to add to that. It's just Gunspy's pick. And now that we've made it to the end of our initial categorization, I did say I'd go back and review some of my choices, but I only decided to change one, that being the Banner Soldier, to which I moved into all 3. Now I know Banner Soldier isn't a proper subclass, however it still fits my definition of a singular weapon change with a vastly compensating playstyle, and just because I couldn't really decide whether to put the banners into separate classes or anything like that, I decided to group them all together and make Banner Soldier an all 3 combo. Thank you very much for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed this. I've been working on this video on and off for a month, and I initially promised it as the next video I'll be making after I made my Scout video. I'm very sorry, just time escaped me. A combination of burnout on this particular project, doubling back on some of my choices, and juggling large projects as a whole meant that this... Excuse me. A combination of burnout on this particular project, juggling lots of larger ones, and just... I forgot what the third thing was. Yeah, I'm really sorry this took a while to make. I decided to release this now, however, as I've just come back from holiday and I need to release something, as it's been about 14 days since my last proper video, and this one was half complete. So, yeah, it all works out. Anyway, thank you very much to everyone for watching, and let me know down below if you make any changes to my categorization and my criteria, and I'll see you later down the sunny road.